Dr. Joanna Howe is a professor at Adelaide Law School, and she joins me now. Dr. Howe, thank you so much for your time. In your expert opinion, is this bill necessary? And if it's passed, what impact will it have for Australians?
So the Albanese government, Rita, has said that this bill is about keeping Australians safe, but I just don't buy it. This bill is about giving the government more power, and essentially what this bill does is allows the government to decide what the truth is. So if you think about George Orwell's 1984 and that dystopia that he presented there was a Ministry of Truth. And essentially what the Albanese government is proposing is to create a Ministry of Truth, and the government will determine what is true. And if you don't comply with the dominant ideology of the establishment and their version of truth, then you will be shut down. So I am really concerned about this. This is the most dangerous law that I have seen in my time as a legal academic, and as someone who's speaking out publicly on the issue of abortion. And I am going against the dominant ideology of the establishment. You know, the Albanese government, the mainstream media, the tech companies, they have a view that abortion is healthcare, and that's the dominant ideology. I'm speaking about the harm of abortion to women and the data that we know that tells us about the terrible effects of abortion on women, and the fact that it's the leading cause of death in Australia today, and the most dangerous place for a child, in fact, is in utero. You know, all of this data and truth that I'm bringing out, I will be shut down. And, you know, you might not agree with me on the issue of abortion, but take your pick, whatever you're passionate about. If you don't comply with the dominant ideology of the establishment, that's the government, the mainstream media and the tech companies, then you will be shut down, you will be silenced. There will be no such thing as free speech on abortion or any other issue on social media if this bill passes.
Well, yeah, because misinformation, disinformation have become catch-all labels for anything that goes against the dominant media narrative. I know you're arguing about abortion, but we saw many untruths and hysteria pushed by governments and health bodies during the pandemic. And many of those who were accused of pushing misinformation, including medical experts, infectious disease experts, have now been vindicated because what they were saying actually turned out to be accurate. Now, we think of the US and Australia as free countries, but how much free speech is actually free in this country? I need a quick answer from you, Professor.
Okay, there's already a lot of censorship through the tech companies on social media and online. But the problem with this bill is it will give the imprimatur of the law. So the government will be giving the green light to social media companies to be doing more censorship. And so that is a real issue to our Australian democracy, and we have to fight back. So I've got a petition on my website, Dr. Joanna Howe, where people can go straight to, there's a QR code on the screen, and you can go to that website and you can make your voice heard to kill this bill, because I really believe that if this bill passes, that will be the end of free speech on social media. And social media is our public square. It's the place that we can speak out against those with power who try to shut us down. So, you know, this is a really dangerous bill. And I'd like the Albanese government to think about the fact that when they were in opposition and the Howard government was pushing the work choices legislation through, they had a $55 million campaign talking about how work choices was fairer for working people in the country. And Labor was very much against that view. And yet that was the dominant view of the government at the time. And what this bill does, of the Albanese government, is says whoever is in power, whoever is in government, they get to determine what is true. And so this is very dangerous, because you might like who's in government now. You might even be in government now.
Dr. Joanna Howe, you are speaking a lot of sense on this issue. We will get you back on this program because we've got a lot more to discuss. Thank you so much for your time this evening.